It's time for The Interview. Now, around the end of 2023, the host city for the 2030 World Expo will be decided. Many public and private groups, organizations, and individuals are pulling their weight to make sure that Busan is able to host the expo. Well, joining us is a particular individual doing the best she can to bring the event to our city. She recently gave a very thought-provoking speech as part of the third round of presentation for the 2030 World Expo Bid. For the very first interview of 2023, please welcome Ms Asia Campbell. 네, 2023년 올해 말 2030 월드 엑스포 개최지가 결정이 납니다. 부산시는 물론 민관 재계가 힘을 합쳐 부산 유치에 열을 올리고 있는데요. 그 가운데 청소년 외교관 캠벨 에이시아 양도 있습니다. 지난해 11월 2030 월드 엑스포 유치국 선정을 위한 3차 경쟁 프레젠테이션에서 인상적인 스피치를 보여 화제가 되기도 했는데요. 미래의 희망을 꿈꿔볼 수 있는 새해 첫 인터뷰, 첫 번째 인터뷰로 만나보겠습니다. Hello and welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you in the studio today.
Thank you.
So how are you doing so far?
Well, great. I just turned 15 and I am very hopeful for this year. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So young, so bright. Well, as part of the New Year's Day celebration, you're a part of the Busan Citizens Bell tolling ceremony. So how was it for you?
Well, everyone was so full of hope and energy that I couldn't feel that it was past midnight.
Oh, wow.
And I think I was very excited to get the chance to greet the new year with many people and even ring the bell.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was looking forward to 2023.
Wow, that sounds so fun. I wasn't personally there, but I heard a lot of good things about it. So thank you for sharing with us. Well, I do want to ask, what wishes or hope do you have for 2023?
May I say three things?
Of course.
Okay. So first of all, this year marks the 70th anniversary of the armistice of the Korean War. I hope there will be many opportunities to meet and express my gratitude to Korean War veterans in person. Also, this year is the year when the country to host the World Expo 2030 will be confirmed.
Right.
And I hope Busan would be the one.
Yes, I second that.
Yeah. Lastly, I would like to learn more about sustainable fashion so I can launch my own sustainable fashion brand and hopefully encourage other teenagers to think more about their fashion choices.
Wow. Those are solid wishes, hopes, and goals for the year. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us. Let's talk about the 2030 World Expo. You're a part of the third round of presentations for the World Expo Bid. And I heard Busan's presentation got the most applause. So how was it for you?
Well, there were a lot more people who came to see the presentation than I expected. Since I knew that a lot of people have been working so hard to host the World Expo 2030 in Busan, I prepared really hard. So I was really excited and surprised to see how everyone was so into my speech. Everyone was watching me, no one was looking at their phones, and some people were even taking videos of me.
Wow.
So it was definitely an unforgettable experience.
Definitely. I heard a little bit of the speech, and we actually played it here on our show, but it definitely, you sounded really good, and it was very encouraging for citizens of Busan as well. So for our listeners, could you tell us what you gave your speech on?
Well, I talked about why Busan is the best place to host the World Expo 2030. If there's anyone listening who would like to watch my presentation, it's on YouTube.
That's right. That's right. You can also just search 2030 World Expo with your name, right? Asia Campbell, and Busan presentation, and it'll be probably the first thing that pops up, right? Well, you mentioned that you prepared a lot for the speech. What did you focus on when preparing for the speech?
Well, the first thing I focused on was memorizing my speech, so I didn't have to look down at my notes.
Right, I noticed.
Yeah, I wanted to look at the audience the whole time. I wanted to make eye contact because I wanted them to feel how I felt.
Oh,
yeah.
Right. I definitely noticed. And listeners, if you haven't checked it out, do check it out. And maybe you can share a part of your speech to our listeners tuning in right now.
Okay. Trust me, my hometown, Busan, will be the perfect setting for this kind of global platform. One that is truly open and accessible to everyone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's my favorite part.
Well, thank you so much, Asia. Listeners, if you're just tuning in to Busan Worldwide, we're in the middle of the interview with Ms Asia Campbell. Our very first interview, actually, of 2023, and you just heard a part of the third round presentation for the 2030 World Expo Bid. Well, Asia, you come from a very diverse background.
Yeah.
Your dad is Canadian, your mom is Korean. I believe they're out there
Yeah.
in front of the studio, now living in Busan. Our city is generally very diverse, I believe, and can be very considered as a global cultural city. So this can play a huge part in bringing the World Expo here, don't you think?
Yeah, well, of course, I would love to be more involved in helping Busan host World Expo 2030. If anybody from the World Expo Busan committee is listening, give me a call. Yeah.
Give her a call. And, you know, as we know, you're known as 6.25 박사,
Yeah.
right? And knowing a great amount about the Korean War, as well having a big heart for Korean veterans. So now, do you still keep in touch these days with veterans?
Well, yes. And the three veterans I've been in touch with most often actually passed away last year. Yeah, I went to the UNMCK to meet the Korean War veterans at the Turn Toward Busan ceremony, and it was really hard to hold back my tears for the whole time. I also went to the UN cemetery on Christmas Day on behalf of the veterans' families and friends. I took photos and emailed them, and they were very happy. It was very sad that the veterans are very old now, but I hope they're healthy so I can meet them and say thank you in person this year.
Right, right. And just being remembered for what they did and all the sacrifice. And that's
Yeah.
what you're doing right now
Yes.
on behalf of Busan citizens. And I thank you for that.
Thank you.
Now, I do want to ask you a bit about day-to-day life, right, of Asia Campbell. So you are in third grade of middle school,
Yes.
right? So how's school life been for you?
Well, last week we had our final school festival, so I danced on stage with my
Ooh.
classmates.
I actually saw the video.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Oh my
yes,
God.
yes. And you did amazing.
Thank you. Well, it was a lot of fun, and I'm going to definitely miss my middle school friends, but I'm looking forward to my next adventure.
So great to hear. So talented, right?
Thank you.
Well, before we wrap up today's interview, lastly, you've been doing great work as an ambassador for our city. So tell us about the work you'll be doing from here on out this year.
Well, of course, I want to meet as many Korean War veterans as I can, and I also want to keep their stories alive. I'm also interested in the environment.
Right.
Like I said before, I would like to encourage teenagers to care more about the environment.
Wow. All right. So I see your heart for environment and even fashion, right?
Yeah.
And for veterans, of course. And of course, just overall Korea, South Korea again. So thank you so much for being here. This was it for the interview, the first interview of 2023 with Ms Asia Campbell, talking about 2030 World Expo, her heart for Busan veterans, and even environment as well. 네, 오늘은 청소년 외교관 캠벨 에이시아 양과 함께 첫 번째 인터뷰죠. 함께 이야기 나눠봤는데요. Asia, thank you so much for being here with us.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you.